For many, many years when I was teaching solution-focused brief therapy, I used to ask the audience and the people I was teaching to see the best in their clients. And that was the way that I was trying to express to people that you have to look at your client through a very particular lens. You have to look at your client in a very particular way in order to make change more likely than not. These days, I actually want to talk about it a little bit differently, because instead of saying I want you to see the best in your clients, what I want to invite you to do is give your client privilege. Like, I live in the world, I live here in the US, and I can't help it. Every time I turn on the news, every time I turn on television, I see privilege or the lack of privilege impacting certain people, and it is maddening, it is frustrating. I myself have experienced opportunities to not have privilege as an African American male in the solution-focused field, and I can tell you it is frustrating, it is oppressive, it is dangerous, it is difficult. But it also shows up in the psychotherapy world. I want to tell you what I mean and why it is so important to give your clients privilege. But first, for a second, let's talk about privilege. So, have you ever had a situation where I'm gonna use like a silly couple of examples, but have you ever been driving down the road and someone cut you off and you're super duper frustrated, you're super duper angry, and you like drive up and around like, I'm gonna flip this person off, I'm gonna like give this person a dirty look, and when you pull up, it's a really, really attractive person, and all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, maybe they're in a rush, or maybe they didn't see me, right? That's privilege, where you continue to see the good in people regardless of other circumstances. That's what privilege looks like. One of the things that I experienced when I came in the solution-focused field is, because I don't look the way previous solution-focused thinkers and writers and lecturers have looked, people would accuse me of things that were not accurate. That's the absence of privilege. People would say things like, Elliot's not trustworthy. This woman named Thorana Nelson told me I was not welcome in the solution-focused house. Like, she actually said that. I was not welcome in the solution-focused house. That is the absence of privilege. And we have to remember that privilege, given that it is the ability to see people through a positive lens in spite of other circumstances, then it is important that we know that one of our responsibilities and jobs in the psychotherapy room when we're doing solution-focused brief therapy is to give our clients privilege. Because our clients are going to come to us and they're going to say things like, I drink too much, or I experience depression. When I get depressed, I do this. When I get angry, I say that. They're going to come in couples therapy and they're going to say that I made this mistake or that mistake. They're going to say I'm not in love with this person anymore, or they frustrate me in this way. But it's so important that we maintain the ability to view them through a privileged lens. Because privilege is everything, and it's everywhere, and it's all the time. The moment we stop looking at people through a privileged lens, they stop being able to be their best self. I don't think privilege is necessarily a bad thing. I'm in situations where I actually benefit from privilege as a male. I think where it becomes bad is our unawareness of privilege and how it impacts people who have it, the advantages that those people get, and how it impacts people who don't. And we have to have honest conversations about this. And I hope in society we get better at acknowledging privilege, and we get more aware at helping people who struggle to attain privilege to feel more welcome and equal. But in the psychotherapy field, I also hope that we understand that it's important that we view our clients through a privileged lens, because that's going to make us better at helping that person be in a position to change. It's going to help us to view them through the ability to change lens. Because I think what we're actually talking about, whereas I previously would describe it as, view your client positively, we're actually talking about the decision to view people with privilege. The decision to view people as privileged. I was talking to a good friend of mine not too long ago, a guy by the name of Evan George, and we talked about how solution-focused brief therapy is a decision. It's the decision to go into the therapy context with these thoughts that I'm going to hold on to and do these things. Solution-focused brief therapy, more than any other approach, is a decision. So I want you to make the decision to view your clients, regardless of their circumstances and regardless of who they are, to view them through the privileged lens. Because when you do that, people are much more likely to change, and you are much more likely to view them through a lens that makes change possible. And that's going to guide the way you talk to them. Because the simple truth is, the level of privilege with which you view someone also impacts the level how you talk to them. It's so funny, like just before I made this video, I was downstairs, as you can see, I'm on a rooftop here in Portland, Oregon, and I was downstairs standing on the corner on the phone, and traffic is whizzing by. Traffic is just driving by, and people, multiple people, it happened twice, 2 times, people hung out the window and started making motions like this at me. Just because I'm a black man standing on the corner, one Asian man and one white man driving down the street started going like this to me, as if somehow I'm like this. That's like the universal sign for hip hop. And how do you think those people would talk to me if that's the lens they view me through, if I encountered them in personal life? How do you think they would talk to me if I encountered them in the professional life? And the answer is probably not respectfully, probably not in a way that allowed me to become the person I want to be and grow. And we have to remember that it is our job to view people in a way that gives them privilege and makes them feel welcome and makes them feel equal and makes them feel participatory and makes them feel respected, because then people are going to be in a much more position to make the requisite changes in their life. And I think it's important that we start talking about it in terms of a privilege dynamic as opposed to view the best in your clients. I think we have to make the decision to view all people as privileged. And look, obviously this is a sensitive topic, and it's happening everywhere in the world right now, and in the U.S. The current presidential administration makes this a daily thing, and I encourage the conversation. Like, leave a comment below. What did you think about this video? How do you respond to what I'm saying? Where do you agree with me? Where do you not agree? I think the conversation is much more important that we continue to have it, whether you agree or disagree. So please leave a comment below what your thoughts are. Give me a like. Please, if you like this video, or even if you didn't, share it. So I think it's important to keep the conversation going. And, thank you. If you're watching some of my YouTube channel, click the little bell below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the little bell so you get notifications when I post new videos, which I do almost daily these days. And head on over to my website, elliottconnie.com. There's loads of awesome free things there. Lots of videos, lots of stuff. I hope you like it. But in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.